Hi there, my name is Ewan Nicholson. Often I get asked in readings when someone's confronted with a difficult or complicated situation, they're often asking, how is it that they know they're making the right decision? And how is it that they can trust the decision they're making at that moment will bring them closer to the reality of where they want to be? And on one level, often people look at decisions in terms of exactly that, the right decision or the wrong decision, or a good decision or a bad decision. And we all know, hindsight gives us 20/20 as we look back at our lives and see that, some of the decisions we made were, poor or were made in a way that didn't end up getting us closer to where we wanted to be. And often in life, there isn't any rule book to say at this point you should do this or at that point you should do that. Each person's situation and circumstance is unique and complicated in its own way. And often, although we can decide what we want, or we can kind of take a decision with our own freedom, we have very little control over what other people do. And often our decisions, when we're caught about something and we're unsure about what to do, often there's an unpredictability about what's going on in other people. So faced with a situation where you need to make a choice and you don't know, what is the best choice, what I advise to people, first and foremost, is to try to get out of thinking in terms of right or wrong, and more think about a decision that is either, comes from your heart or more comes from your head. And a decision that is really that ends up feeling like your personal truth. And it isn't right and it isn't wrong, it's just what you would describe as your own truth. And there are different ways of expressing that. You can say, I'm making a decision from my heart or from my gut, or I'm making a decision with the bigger me rather than the smaller me, or your head and heart. And often the difference between a head and heart decision is a heart decision is a feeling intuitively that this is the right thing to do. Not right in the wrong or right sense or correct sense, but right in the sense of it feels right. And often decisions that feel right can be painful ones. They're decisions that maybe create a lot of guilt. Say you have a decision where you don't want to continue on with a relationship, but the other person does, and by being true to yourself is going to cause them a lot of pain and a lot of upset. So the right decision can sometimes be quite painful, and that's often a kind of a good indicator. Not that a right decision is painful, but if it feels right and it's confronting, then even more so, because often it may be you're at a point in your life where whatever it is you need to confront, you kind of can't get it away from it anymore. Now, a decision that's made from the head is more about a calculation. Now, decisions we make from our head often can be, the kind of car we buy, or whether we buy a second-hand or a new car, or the decisions that do involve some kind of rationale of adding up all the variables and the factors and bringing them all into account and saying, which is the best one. And there are some decisions that we need to kind of make in our head through the process of calculation, rationale. But often relationship decisions are not in that realm. They're intuitive, heartfelt situations. And to make a decision in your head with a heart situation ends up creating a lot of problems and a lot of troubles, because often our head is about calculating what is the best move or what is the best thing to do that will lead me to kind of what I want and what I'm trying to get. And it's like a kind of a decision that's on a chessboard, that if I move this here and then this happens here, then I'll be here and I'll kind of get what I want. And more often than not, even if in the short term you get what you want, whatever it is you were avoiding back then, and whatever you didn't want to confront and you postponed the confrontation through making this kind of head decision, more than likely it's going to come back up again. So, the best thing I recommend is to make heart decisions when it comes to relationships. And the way you're making a heart decision is there's a knowingness that we all have. And often when we go against our hearts, there's a kind of a guilt there, or there's an uncomfortability we feel. It's almost like conscience saying, we know you're doing the wrong thing. And if you trust that heart and you learn to listen to it more and more, it's more powerful than we give credit for. And in my opinion, the process of logic and rationale has become the kind of dominant way to kind of choose. And I think in the relationship area, it's close to being kind of redundant. So we have to regain our knowing and a sense of what is our personal truth, what does come from our hearts. And I think the more you can live by that in terms of your relationships, the greater things, flow and the greater things work. Okay, I hope that's helped. Thank you.